Diane Mineo joined the Center for Advocacy for the Rights and Interests of the Elderly in 1989 and since 1995 has served as its executive director. CARI is a multi-service advocacy organization founded in 1977, assisting frail older adults and their caregivers, advocating for policy changes and providing training and education to improve their quality of life.
We call ourselves CARIE, C-A-R-I-E, because it's a lot easier for people. But it's of course important to understand what our name is because it helps you know what we do. And so my position here as executive director, I've been here for almost 28 years now. Let me just tell you, first of all, I think it's important to understand what our model is. We're an advocacy organization, and so we're solely focused on advocacy. What we like to describe ourselves as a circle of advocacy. And so when you advocate, you can advocate for individuals, you can advocate on a larger level. I also had a grandmother who was probably the person that I cared about the most growing up. And she had polio as a young child, and so was always frail, as long as for all the years I knew her. And so she was somebody also who made me want to work more with older people. People who call us, the people who contact us with problems, are the ones who really let us know what the issues are. And so after we know the issues, we can take that to policymakers to have a much greater impact. So it's very difficult, we could not, first of all, we couldn't answer. If everyone knew about us and called us about their problem, we couldn't answer all those questions because we have a, limited capacity. We don't turn anyone away, but nevertheless, we do learn, as I said, we learn from that person. So I think we need to make sure that we're part of the solution and not part of the problem.
I said if I ever came to any money, I was going to contribute some of it to the organization because they're wonderful. And it's a lot of senior citizens. The baby boomers getting old. So it's a lot of people and CARI can't do it all because they're limited. You know what I mean? They can't do it all. And if it was other people that could step in and help CARI, it'd be a wonderful thing.
CARI was a big help. And anybody my age that gets stuck in a situation like this should use them. Had I known about them when I was actually in jail, I would have called right away.
I didn't know where to turn, so I went into the phone book. As soon as I looked on this page, it said, "You need help?" And right underneath of it was CARI. I said, "Oh, let me call them." And I called them, and it was like a godsend.
My neighbor, God bless her, Diane, said, "Hello, how are you?" I said I would be fine if I could settle something. Well, that was 8 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, I got the loveliest call.
At the preliminary hearing is when I met Mr. McNeil from CARI. And as I was in court for 2 years off and on, CARI is where I went when I had a problem. CARI gave me transportation. They have an office down in the Criminal Justice Center, and so for the whole 2 years, every time I was in court, Mr. McNeil was with me, or I was in the office. But anyway, I felt safe.
Well, we're going to educate that person who's calling us, or if somebody who says, "My mother just got out, is in the hospital, and they told me she needs a nursing home." We're not going to say, "Okay, here's 3 nursing homes you can try." We're going to talk to her and make sure that she understands all of her options, not just nursing homes, but the other options that are available to her, and educate her about how to, if it is a nursing home, how to choose that nursing home, and so on. So we take a lot more time. The average time that we spend, and INR generally is a 5-minute call. You call, you say, "I need to know where there's nursing homes in my community." They send you a list and it's over. Our calls are like an average of 50 minutes. So we could be taking we could have some of those shorter calls, but we might have calls that last hours and hours and hours because we're following through. October 15th, it started open enrollment for Medicare. So we spend a lot of time, our staff spends a lot of time helping older adults figure out, first of all, if they're new to Medicare, we'll help them choose a plan. If they're not new to Medicare and they're in a Medicare plan, the way that Medicare is set up these days, particularly the Medicare Part D, which is the prescription drug coverage, it can change every year. So they really need to, and that's part of our education for people, is that don't just sit back in open enrollment and let it roll over. You've got to look at it. Similar to the Affordable Care Act, you've got to look at what your plan covers. You've got to make sure that it's still a good option for you. So we talk to people about that, and we do a lot of one-on-one over the telephone, in person. Sometimes we will do three-way calls with the insurance company so that they can hear and we can help advocate for them right on the spot there. So we do a lot. Now, you know, one of our bigger challenges is for the people who haven't yet become eligible for Medicare, because they're elderly too. And so we're working with them around Affordable Care Act and how they can get on the exchange or Medicaid. And so, you know, it's challenging, but we do it. Being able to help individuals resolve a problem. And, you know, we have, you know, when people call us, as I said, they're usually in a crisis mode and they don't know where to turn. And when we're able to help that person get resolution to their problem, it's extremely rewarding. And so I think that's quite rewarding. You know, I do think I get excited about public policy. I get excited about being able to talk about these issues with people that can make a change. So I think those are the things that excite me the most about what I do, is that we have an impact on people's lives, both at that individual level, and that we're able to go in and inform policymakers about what the needs of that population are.